Wandering the hot, dry nuclear wasteland that was once a fully populated area can really take its toll on your body. You need to stay hydrated, and you need precious energy. So when you stumble onto an ice-cold bottle of Nuka-Cola, I mean, sure, it may be flatter than Lucina, but it's the one moment of true bliss you've had since entering this godforsaken wasteland. Then, off in the distance, you see it. A light blue glow from within a window. You break in, and you see it. Nuka-Cola Quantum. You've seen the ads. It has twice the calories, twice the carbohydrates, twice the caffeine, and twice the taste. And to make it stand out more on the shelves and give it that extra kick, the Quantum includes a mild radioactive isotope. So it even makes your urine glow with radiation. Yay! This drink often has many jokes surrounding it, but what would drinking it actually do to you? Noggin. The typical tale goes that Nuka-Cola Quantum was never fully tested long-term, and while they were beginning testing and sending it out to testers, well, the war happened. So no one truly knows the long-term effects of drinking Nuka-Cola Quantum. But what we do know is how they made it glow. They used strontium isotopes. But which ones? There are a number of natural and artificial strontium isotopes, but thankfully we don't need to do any hard science to figure this one out, as reports from the Nuka-Cola plant in Washington, D.C. state they use the strontium isotope SR90. SR90 is a byproduct of nuclear fission, which is when atoms split into smaller parts. And SR90 isn't terribly radioactive. It's used in things like televisions, thermal generators, and spacecrafts. It's even used for its glowing properties in things like glow sticks and glow-in-the-dark paints. It can even glow in its pure form, though not as much as Nuka-Cola Quantum. But all of these things I've mentioned are things you would not typically ingest. Well, SR90 is also used in toothpaste for sensitive teeth. Which, I mean, I know you aren't supposed to ingest toothpaste, but you always do a little. But SR90 is also used in bone vitamins. Vitamins for increasing your bone strength. Though, in very minute amounts. But neither of these things really glow. So Nuka-Cola Quantum must be using significantly more of it. So what are the long-term effects of being exposed to larger amounts of SR90? I mean, after all, SR90 was among the most important isotopes regarding health impacts after the Chernobyl disaster. Well, thankfully, just being exposed to SR90, by itself that is, quote, not a major concern because strontium-90 emits no gamma radiation, and its decay product, yttrium-90, emits only a small amount, end quote. That's said by the Health Physics Society, an organization whose primary objective is to study and document the effects of various kinds of radiation on human health. Oh, so that's good, but the same study also says strontium is a health hazard only if it is taken into the body. Oh. Well, great. So exactly what we're doing with Nuka-Cola Quantum! And this is why SR90 was super terrible during the Chernobyl incident. Not because it was one of the types of radiation to harm humans for being too close to something, but because SR90 got into the water supply, and people would drink it. Thankfully, though, our bodies for the most part know what they're doing. And thus around 80% of any ingested amount of strontium is sent straight out of the body through urination. But that remaining 20% can be all it takes to deal some damage, though only if you ingest strontium in large amounts. So there's nothing to really fear from toothpaste and calcium tablets. There simply isn't enough SR90 to cause harm in those. But if someone were to be drinking multiple bottles of soda that has so much SR90 in it that it glows, that is going to cause some health problems. So what are those health problems? Well, in the body, it acts similar to calcium, as 99% of all strontium that does get stored in your body goes into your bones and bone marrow. The remaining 1% is just all over. This is why strontium is used in bone strengthening pills. When in minuscule amounts, it works alongside calcium to boost your bone power. but in larger amounts, it most commonly leads to bone cancer. And also myeloma, which is cancer of the bone marrow, and leukemia, which is blood cancer. And this is because blood is formed in the bone marrow, and if your bone marrow is irradiated, then the blood it creates can become cancerous. Bone cancer and myeloma are each considered to be one of, if not the most painful types of cancer to get. I mean, think about it. To treat cancer, you need to go through chemotherapy, which is hard and painful in itself. But at least for the most part, tumors of the flesh and organs are still squishy. But bone tumors? Imagine your bones scraping against one another. Imagine the flesh around the rough bone tumor moving around it. Plus, it makes all of your bones weak, sometimes to the point where they will frequently chip all over. Constant fracturing. Not to mention that chemotherapy and most traditional means of treating cancer patients don't work nearly as effectively on bone cancer as it does with others. Commonly, if you get bone cancer, then whichever bones are cancerous simply need to be removed and replaced by an artificial bone. But sometimes, whole limbs need to be amputated. It's rough. Cancer is always rough, but bone cancer is also literally rough. So, drinking too much Nuka-Cola Quantum will definitely heighten your risk of bone cancer, myeloma, and leukemia. So if you ever see some sort of glowing beverage in your grocery store, just don't drink it. Nothing drinkable should ever glow. So use your noggin and protect yourself. And stay awesome.